Welcome to Finland. Our Finnish Cycling Embassy ambassadors will take us to Turku, Oulu, and to Helsinki, the capital city which sits at the same latitude as Anchorage, Alaska. In the last 10 years or so, Helsinki has grown its cycling mode share to over 10% through much investment and serious political will. We have created this film during the winter and the COVID pandemic. Hence, you will see fewer cyclists than are normally out and about in Finnish cities. We are fond of saying, if you want to be inspired, go to Copenhagen or to many cities in the Netherlands. If you want help increasing your city's mode share, we can help through information exchanges or through partnerships.
Us Finnish people are well known for our humble nature. But despite of that fact, we at the city of Helsinki have set a very ambitious goal of becoming the most functional city in the world. That, of course, requires a very multidisciplinary and a comprehensive approach. It's based on a well-established fabric of developing our dense and mixed land use further and having all corners of our urban fabric connected by a trunk network of light rapid transit. This light rapid transit is further complemented by a comprehensive, continuous, and a coherent citywide network for cycling. On a transport level, this means separating bicycle traffic on all busy thoroughfares for car traffic and also separating from pedestrians, and then practicing traffic calming on local streets so that people of all ages and abilities will feel safe and comfortable cycling on the roadway.
Oulu, a northern Finnish city with a population of over 100,000, enjoys the moniker Winter Biking Capital. Oulu sees a summertime bicycling mode share of 28%, and it only drops to 22% in the winter. Oulu has a connected network of facilities from shared use pathways to dedicated, grade-separated cycling tracks. They are now famous for their winter maintenance programs and techniques, and cities from all over the north are beginning to implement the Oulu methods. At the Metsäkangas School, 1,000 of the 1,200 elementary-age students ride their bikes to work every day, most often in the dark. This gives a whole new meaning to safe routes to school. Often during the winter months, wayfinding and identifiers are obscured by ice and snow. Projecting images onto the snow has been a clever fix in Oulu. The city of Helsinki understands that cycling is good business. Each euro of investment in infrastructure yields 8 euros of return. Riikka Kallio.
Beginning in 2012, the Helsinki region has embarked on a program to develop a network of bicycle highways, so-called Bana routes. While the investment in this network has and continues to be significant, the return has been significant. For every €1 invested, there has been a return of 8 euros. This return primarily affects healthcare costs, which, to be fair, are government funded. This represents almost 50% of the return. Travel time saved about 20%, with environmental savings about 8%. There are costs associated as well, including maintenance and the cost of car crashes.
In the US, of course, single-payer insurance does not yet exist. This doesn't mean that healthcare insurers won't benefit from the development of bicycle infrastructure. They will. It just remains outside of the ROI equation for their US market. But what if the health insurance industry participated in the investment? Not to the tune of 50%, but what about half of that? The benefit and the ROI is there. It's just a question of who will invest and who will get the return. The city of Turku has become a leader in mobility as a service. Stella Aaltonen.
Maaseudun liikkuminen palveluna Mobility as a Service tarkoittaa sitä, että käyttäjä saisi mahdollisimman yksinkertaisesti ja helposti moninaisia liikkumisvälineitä käyttöönsä. Turussa on työstetty paljonkin sitä lippuintegraatiota eli taustajärjestelmää. Meidän ensimmäinen tämmöinen lipputaustan integraatio on ollut meidän kaupunkipyöräjärjestelmämme, jossa pystytään sitten FÖLin eli seudullisen joukkoliikenteen asiakkuudella käyttämään kaupunkipyöräjärjestelmää. Ja jos sulla on kuukauden käyttöoikeus joukkoliikenteeseen, niin sä pystyt käyttämään kaupunkipyörää sillä samalla. Mitä me Turussa ollaan hyvin paljon työstetty on sitä, että me päästään niin kuin yhdistämään niitä kulkuvälineitä itse siihen palvelun tarjontaan. Ja tässä nyt hyvänä esimerkkinä on teatterilippu tai konserttilippu tai tapahtumalippu, joka pystytään yhdistämään joukkoliikenteeseen kertalippuun hyvin yksinkertaisesti. Ja se toimiikin nykyisin jo aika isossa osassa meidän kulttuuripuolen tarjontaa. Turussa liikenteen ja liikkumisen kaikki toimenpiteet tähtää Turun kaupungin hiilineutraaliuteen vuoteen 2029 mennessä. Liikkuminen palveluna on yksi kokonaisuus, jolla pystytään vauhdittamaan sitä, että asukkaat ja vierailijat pystyisivät mahdollisimman helposti ja yksinkertaisesti käyttämään sellaisia kestäviä kulkuvälineitä, jotka he kuhunkin tavoitteeseen tai tarkoitukseen tarvitsevat sillä hetkellä.
This Google Map graphic shows an interesting comparison of the identified bikeways in Minneapolis and in Helsinki. To be fair, much of the network outside the Helsinki city network is shared, but still off-street. When networks can gain this kind of density and connectedness, mode share will follow. It's a good example of, if you build it, they will come. Put into place several years ago, the Helsinki bike share program has been wildly successful, with over 61,000 annual subscribers. The program is widely used by tourists and locals alike for commuting, tourism, and travel to local events. The financial scheme allows for a successful and growing network. While there is pressure to the contrary, the system is closed in the winter months from November through March. Boulevardi and Hämeentie are sort of bookends in the Helsinki bike ecosystem. Both are well-used east-west routes. Boulevardi is one of the first, and Hämeentie is brand new, unfinished as of this filming. Oskari Kaupimäki.
Boulevardi, or boulevard in English, features the first known urban cycle paths in Helsinki, a first real attempt at integrating the bicycle into the urban fabric in Helsinki. Considering that it was built back in 1986, the cycle paths really do represent a lot of promising features of best practices. They're unidirectional on both sides of the street, they're separated from car traffic and pedestrians, and they even feature bicycle-specific traffic signals. Unfortunately, these cycle tracks are hopelessly too narrow, overgrown with vegetation, impossible to maintain, and separation with pedestrians is minimal at intersections. And even if you think that, well, you can fit your bike in there, just consider riding through these cycle tracks with a fully loaded cargo bike. Yikes. Fast tracking from 1986 to 2021, Hämeentie really showcases the great leap we have taken with integrating the bicycle into the urban fabric. While before, the street was a great example of the 1970s car-centric approach, it's now been turned into a living street, a street for people, where the bicycle has also been given its adequate space with unidirectional, grade-separated cycle tracks on both sides of the street. Before, naysayers said they wouldn't fit, but as you can see, they fit perfectly. This is really a cause for celebration, so cheers and thank you.
Cycling in Finland has grown in large part from strong political support. We even have the obligatory image of our Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, on her bike. Again, Oskari Kaupimäki.
Now it's time to talk about everyone's favorite subject, politics. It's very important to realize that no matter how many driven professionals you have working in urban development, a lot of that work will go in vain if there's no political will working in the background as a driving force. That's really what set wheels into motion here in Helsinki, already before 2012, when the first coherent and continuous target network for cycling was accepted by the city board. There was actually a lot of political force already in motion before 2010, and that really started turning into a reality in terms of sustainable development goals starting in 2012. What soon followed the target network was the first multidisciplinary holistic bicycle action plan back in 2013. What that set into motion was really including cycling as an integral part of many strategic plans that followed, which included the mobility plan, the carbon neutral Helsinki plan, and the city strategy. As all these different political decisions were made, the level of investments also rose, starting at around 4 million euros back in 2012, going up to about 10 million euros in 2015, and finally going up to almost 20 million euros in 2020. And it's set to stay at that level until the unforeseen future. And it is with this level of investment that we have the actual chance of making the target network a reality by 2030, and with that, the model share going up to 20%.
In 1940, Helsinki enjoyed a 30% mode share for cycling. As the car culture grew, the city systematically lost share to the car and to transit. Over the last 20 years, as a result of high levels of investment, mode share numbers have been climbing. The dip in the last couple of years is partially caused by the dramatic growth in the Helsinki population. Still, the city is not resting on their laurels and have increased investments in cycling infrastructure to about 20 million euros per year. The city also commissioned a new comprehensive 2020 to 2025 bicycle action plan, which identifies a desired growth in mode share to 20% by 2030.